Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Murder Squad by Bryan Smith. And this is from CreateSpace. Not sure, but it's Murder Squad by Bryan Smith. And this is the story of three crazy serial killers. You have Roxy Wallace, Josh Booker, and Echo Vaughn, and they are brought in by a shadowy, perhaps governmental, pseudo-governmental organization, and hired to basically do what they do best: kill people and cause chaos and basically distract the American public from things that this shadowy organization wants to do. And that's basically your setup for this book. So right now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that these three characters are from other Bryan Smith books. Roxy Wallace from The Killing Kind, Josh Booker from The Reborn, Echo Vaughn from Go Kill Crazy. And but you do not have to have read those other books to read and enjoy this. Now, you should read those other books because it's Bryan Smith and he's a fantastic author, but you don't have to read those to read and enjoy Murder Squad. Everything you need to know about our characters is in this book. We get some of that background, and maybe it'll pique your curiosity and you'll want to go and read those books to have some things filled in. But I don't think there's any point where you're going to be lost if you haven't read those other books. So Roxy, Josh, and Echo brought in, told that these people want our three killers to just do what they love to do. Just go to any place they want, basically, different parts of the country, and just cause chaos. And that's what we get. These are three... 2.5 completely amoral people, and this is a bloody, violent, disturbing book. This is probably as close as one can get to hardcore horror masters like Rath James White or Edward Lee without actually stepping into their shoes. It's pretty damn close, though. Roxy goes off and she does her thing, and we get into her head a little bit, learn about her. Great character if you like the amoral type, and she just loves killing. She just gets such a thrill from it. Josh, pretty much the same way, maybe even a little, well, definitely one of the things he does is definitely makes him crazier than Roxy, but if it's possible, he seems like he might even be more amoral than Roxy. Echo is the only one that maybe has a little bit of potential for redemption. Maybe not redemption, but she's not quite as over the edge as the other two. She actually wanted to sort of get out of the bad guy game before this shadowy organization brought her back in. So our three killers go on their killing sprees, and we meet some interesting characters along the way, and there's some I think there's a little, much like the last book I reviewed, there's a little political statement possibly in here. There are a few chapters that are just sort of news headlines or news clips, things like that, and it's the way the media deals with these things. I think maybe is a jab at our modern day media. I mean, and the book is definitely very timely with all the we have the mass shootings and the killing spree. There's so much horrible stuff going on in the world, and it's weird that some people might think it's weird that I like to immerse myself in this, but fictional violence can be very entertaining and cathartic as opposed to the real world horror that goes on. And I've heard conspiracy theories that some of these school shootings and things were orchestrated by the government as a distraction. Or, I mean, the biggest one was that Red Hook, Sandy Hook. There's so many of them; it's hard to keep them straight. But anyway, that was orchestrated by the Obama administration so they could take everybody's guns away. So, I mean, this is a quite a timely book, I would say. And it's incredibly enjoyable. I love these characters. They reminded me, in their amorality, they reminded me of the Firefly family from Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. The characters of Roxy, Josh, and Echo are nothing like any of the Firefly family members as far as their personalities. Just their joy in killing and in chaos and mayhem. I was easily reminded of the Firefly characters from Rob Zombie. I don't know how the author, Bryan Smith, will feel about that. I don't know what his thoughts on Rob Zombie movies are, but I'm just saying that's what I was reminded of. I happen to like both of those movies, and I really like these characters. And I have read The Killing Kind. I have The Killing Kind 2, and I have Go Kill Crazy. I have not read those, which is how I can very easily say you don't have to have read those to enjoy this book, because I've only read one of those. I have so many Bryan, so it's hard to keep up with everything. I have at least half a dozen Bryan Smith books I haven't read yet. Easily half a dozen. But I really wanted to get to this. I love that cover. It just, the word that comes to mind when I look at this young lady with her knife and her gun, but the way she's posed, I think she's being coquettish. She's just maybe even a little, she's flirting with somebody who doesn't see the weapons behind her back. But I really like that design, and I really enjoyed this book. So I don't think my rating is going to surprise anybody. I gave it 5. Oh, the lighting here. 5 out of 5. Bloody straight razors. There we go. I think you can see that pretty well. Just for pure visceral entertainment, I'm giving this 5 out of 5. It was so much, I mean, fun is a weird word to use for a book that's just so much horrible violence and other things. But it was a very, I didn't want to put it down. I was drawn in. I wanted to follow these characters. I wasn't rooting for these characters, but I definitely wanted to follow along and see what they were going to do. See, are they going to get captured? What's going to happen? What's the government, the secret government agency up to? And all of your questions aren't necessarily going to be answered. It's not really open-ended so much as some of it ends kind of abruptly, which is not a bad thing. I like the way that's done. Bryan Smith obviously doesn't feel the need to tie everything up neatly in a little bow, which I enjoy. I like, sometimes I like a happy ending. Sometimes I like a really down, dark ending. And sometimes I like an ending that kind of leaves you hanging a little bit. It can work. And Bryan Smith is a skilled enough writer to pull it off. Just as he's a skilled enough writer to, again, make us follow along with these really horrible people. In a less skilled writer's hands, I think this would just be a blood fest. And it's more than that. He really does make these characters live and breathe. Not literally, because they are just fictional characters, but they live and breathe within the pages of the book. I think Josh, of the three, Josh might be my least favorite. He seems to me, within this book, to have to be less developed as a character, maybe that's not the best way to put it, because he is a fully developed character. He has less of a character arc, perhaps, than the other two, than Roxy and Echo. I like his character a lot. He's a very twisted person. Again, very entertaining to read. I just think there was a little more when we sort of get into the heads of Roxy and Echo. I felt there was a little bit more to those two than to Josh. But I'll have to read The Reborn and see how he is in that book. And maybe what I'm looking for is going to be there. But that didn't take away from my enjoyment at all. That's why 5 out of 5. Bloody straight razors. Because pure entertainment for Murder Squad by Bryan Smith. Just, if you're not going to shy away from violence and depravity, this is the book for you. It's if you like movies like House of a Thousand Corpses or The Devil's Rejects, I'm sure there are plenty of other examples that I'm just not thinking of right now. If you like that kind of stuff, I think you're going to enjoy this. So that's Murder Squad by Bryan Smith with the coquettish young lady on the cover. So I'll have a link for the book in the description below, 1 or 2 links down there. And please, if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show, as much as we may enjoy the really evil characters on occasion. So be happy to answer any questions, get into the story a little more. But just post a spoiler warning and we can get into it. Please like, share, and subscribe. I think that covers everything. So this has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.